paste it, and I have 6 articles, so I'm just going to paste 6 of them here. So starting with the first page, I would just put a text box, or I put an image right there. That's obviously not the image I'm going to use, so when you click there, this comes up, and I want to change the picture to something else, and this is going to be related to school. I'm going to get a picture of a school bus. And then the caption's going to be up to you. And this would be a time where you may want to zoom in if you cannot read that. Okay, so there's my picture. There's my caption. Also, with the first article here, you do want to make sure you have 2 columns in some of your articles. It's not necessary for all of them, but notice right now we only have 1. And if you go up here to text box tools, and you can change the columns easily to 2, that's going to work. And notice like the extra space here, you don't really want that, so I'm going to make this smaller until it kind of, there's not a lot of extra space. Okay, so that will work. Okay there, but notice I'm overlapping the index here, so I want to make sure I'm outside that index. So something like that is probably fine. The index probably looks better up here. And also on the index, I didn't change the numbers yet, but these are going to be page numbers. So the back to school article is going to be on page 1, woodworking is going to be on page 2, and all the rest of mine, I'm sorry, woodworking is on page 1 also. All the rest of mine are going to be on page 2. Yours might look a little different than that, but that's how this one is going to look. So you can put the page that the actual article is going to be on in your index. So the bottom, I'm going to do pretty much the same thing. I'm going to format this and put a picture in here. It's up to you if you want to, if you have lines or dividers, it's up to you if you want to keep them. If you do have lines and you stretch them, you hold down shift, they will stay straight. So I have some extra space here. I'm going to bring that up. So this article has to do with woodworking, so I'm going to bring up image over here. Same thing, I want to change the picture. If you want to use different clip art and do your own for each one, that's fine. I just think it's easier to make one and then just copy them. So something to do with wood shop. And then you would put some sort of caption there. Okay, and that's pretty much going to be the first page. You obviously, you'd want to make sure things are balanced and symmetrical. But if they are, for me, that's going to be my first page. I'm only putting 2 articles on my first page and putting all the other ones on the second page. For me, the second page is going to be where this gets a little bit challenging because I have to get all this stuff in there and fitting in there. And if I move my title up here, a lot of times with this page, I think it's easier if you bring the side of the text box over here past 6. That'll give me room here to work. So the type of picture I'm going to want for this is going to have something to do with lunch. So I'm going to bring this over here, and I'm going to find something related to food or lunch. And once again, going to have some sort of caption. You're not just saying what the item is. I'm not just saying pizza, okay? Because obviously you can see it's a picture of pizza, but you're putting something in there. You can put something funny, you can put something serious. It's up to you. And once again, it's up to you. If you have divider lines like this, you can either leave them in there, you can move them. just to give me a little bit of a divider so you can tell the difference here between these. It's up to you if you want to keep anything like that in there. But you're pretty much going to do the same thing. So you just want to make sure this text box ends around 6, and you're going to put a piece of clip art in the bottom. So I have clip art now here and down here. I don't have my picture changed yet here. So this is about volleyball, so I'm changing it something to do with volleyball. And another thing you want to do here for some of these is make them 2 columns just like you did the front, because 2 columns looks a little bit more professional in a newsletter. So once again, you just want to go to Format, Columns, and 2 columns. Okay, so you don't need to change them all. I'm going to just do it with a couple of them here. So I click on the text box is selected, go to Format, Columns, 2 columns. The last thing I'm going to do on this page is mess with this last article here, because I have to get a 4th article on this page because I really don't have room for it on this page. So I'm going to have to format this and the titles so they fit. Now remember, you want the titles to be around 17 in size. Okay, so even if I make this smaller, which I'm going to have to do, put begins on the bottom part, I'm going to center those. Okay, it already shrunk it down to 15 automatically, so I want it to stay around 17. If I have to make that a little wider, that's fine. Okay, so that's probably a decent sized title there. Okay, it doesn't look too bad. Then I'm going to put this article over here. I also need a last picture over here. This is going to have something to do with football. I'll change that in a second. And then the last article is going to go right underneath here. Now this kind of all blends in a little bit, so what I like to do if stuff is blending in a little too much and not standing out is put rectangles behind it. Let me change this really quick. Something related to football. Okay, so I have my picture, my caption, my title. So what I like to do is sometimes put a rectangle or a shape. So if we go to Insert and Shapes, there's a lot of different shapes here you have to pick from. I'm just going to pick a rectangle, and it's up to you if you want to put one of these in where you put it. I'm going to start it about here. I can always change it later. And obviously right now it's red. Red would be okay, I guess. I like probably something a little less bold. Make it gray here. And obviously I can't see anything. That's because right now the rectangle is in front of everything. If I go to send backward, it will start sending things. It'll start sending it behind some things. If you say send to back, it will send it all the way to the back. And right now you can still see the white here. That's because this title has a white background. So if you really don't want that white, then you would just go to no fill on that. And that way it stands out a little bit more than these. And if you notice, it is consistent. The picture's all about the same size. The text box is below, all black with white writing. Okay, so it's consistent there. Symmetrical. You want to make sure things are inside the blue lines. Okay, if it's a tiny bit outside, it's okay, but even that can be within the blue line there. And make sure things aren't, and this is outside the blue line a tiny bit, but it's really just the rectangle. I can move that over too, so it goes inside. So once you have that, once you have all 6 articles in, you can see them all. Okay, and notice I can't see all of this one here. It says sends and it stops. Okay, so this is the type of thing you want to look for. I need to make this a little bit larger. Sometimes that requires bringing titles up a little bit, so you're able to stretch the text box a little bit more. Okay, and now it's all showing there. So if you see red around it, you see red around your text box there, red handles, that means it's not all showing. Okay, so all my articles are showing. It's pretty symmetrical. It's within the blue lines. All my titles are above there. They're the right titles. I have an index. The titles aren't there. I have a volume, a date, a title. You're pretty much good to go at that point, and you can turn it in.